Thank you, Ingo, again for inviting me. And I'm welcoming you to your session on how to become or how to be the hero of any virtual meeting. And what it's going to be, it's like a concise overview of what I've learned over the last years. What it's not going to be, it's not going to be a tech or an overview of digital devices that are out there. There are multiple YouTube videos just on that. But what is more importantly, and what I've learned over the years, that the human interaction that needs to be somehow staying alive throughout these kind of online meetings. So that's what we're going to focus on. It's basically my strategy on doing virtual team meetings with maximum focus, connection, effectivity, and fun. Quickly to myself, Ingo said it. I mean, I've been in this innovation business for over 10 years, and strategy, workshop design, new work, resilience, design thinking, mompreneurs, and transformation is my thing, and I love doing it, and I still love doing it. And when I went into this remote room, I just couldn't give up. I just didn't see any sense of giving it up. So I just tried together with my brave clients at the time to find ways to really keep this innovation engine running. And nowadays it's somehow normal, but back then, only three years ago, it was totally new, and we've learned a lot together. Yeah, I'm also a book author and doing online courses, but Ingo said it all, so let's dive in what we wanted to achieve today. So today's mission is, first of all, like, what do I mean by hero? When I talked about this title, there was a lot of funny conceptions about that, so I just want to keep that sort of definition straight, what I mean by that, and then dive really into these 10 steps. It's an inspiration. It's obviously you take what you think is useful and tweak it for yourself. Authenticity is always key. I mean, we're not robots. Yeah, we're human, so that has to be priority. It has to be the priority. But it's just like it's kind of a gift bag that is my wish for this teaching, that you take home inspirations that enrich your virtual team meetings in the future. And again, there's no tech advice in that. If you want that in the Q&A, I'm happy to give you that, but that's not the focus. And we also have some interaction in between. Taking away, of course, the training, which you get as a link. You also get the links to the template that I'm using, and the 10 steps checklist that I'm going to teach you will be also due in a couple of days, weeks. I don't know when the blog is finished and everything is running, because I'm also in transitioning while I'm doing all these trainings. So give me a thumbs up, or just write like into the chat if you are up for this training. Go, please. Great, awesome, wonderful, fantastic. Okay, what is a hero? So what I mean by hero is, and I love two quotes. One is by Tom Hanks, the other one you see in a minute. A hero is someone who voluntarily walks into the unknown. So as this is a field that almost changes daily or weekly, a hero for me is really somebody who tries out new things in this totally new field. And also, and I love this quote by Maya Angelou, I think a hero is any person with the intention on making this a better place for people. So at the end of the day, I mean, if we're meeting virtually, and if you're a leader, you're still a leader. And there's so much, especially in this time we're in, that cries out for the focus and attention of how can we motivate our people right now, and as we're going through this crisis, which might never end, who knows? So these two are extremely important when it comes to my definition of a hero. And when I look at my overall learnings of these online meetings plus crisis, people are so over the, I don't know if you can relate to that, but people that I work with are so all over the place. They're super distracted. Rightly so. In times of crisis, people want to know that you care more, that they care about what you know. I love this quote as well by Will Rogers. So in general, like for me, focus is key, active involvement is key, trying things out, again, like going into the unknown and making like these online meetings like experiences better and better and better, showing you care and being motivational. In general, I mean, I can always just say get in touch with your people more than you have before, but also through the tools that I will show you. And this is just the basic toolbox for you to try out maybe new things, and so you can actively design the meeting more user-centric and the way you want it. And to be more user-centric, to put the glasses on, what I mean by user-centric, that we don't look at the meeting, we go into the meeting and then the meeting happens to us. We can actively create the meeting, and there's a before, a during, and an after. Like I just talked to my husband like an hour ago, where like everything, like our favorite coffee shop obviously now turned into this delivery service, and I'm so excited to in the morning check on Instagram what they have for delivery on that day. So it already starts, my excitement starts in the morning when I actually already think about the coffee or the cake, not the coffee, that's mostly the same, but the cake that is new and that I want to dive into. So the same method can apply to meetings. I will show you in a minute. So what I would love for you, what I would love to know from your side is, and I try to come back to that in the Q&A if we have time, but also like that we share and we know where we're at this very moment. What is your biggest challenge in terms of virtual team meetings right now? I would love for you to, if you want, share it in the chat so we know kind of why you're here. What is your one biggest challenge you face regularly or at this very moment? Attention spans, yeah. Time. Making sure everybody can interact. Interaction is a big thing. Time, too many virtual meetings without purpose. Very good. Keeping them engaged, yes. Being effective and efficient. Having fun, great. Having fun, yes, absolutely. Interaction, distraction, yeah. Yeah, you don't see their faces for reaction, need to slow down. Yeah, building rapport, lovely. Common rules, awesome. Yeah, we covered that also as well. Encourage the proper preparation of online meetings. Yeah, yep. I will help you hopefully on that as well. Hard to end, it's nice though. Perfect. Yeah, okay, what I will cover is a lot. Not all of them. I mean, the time issue is always critical, but also there I'm gonna give you some hints and tools. Awesome, okay. Wonderful, thank you. So let's dive in. The 10-step strategy, or the 10 learnings, let's call it the 10 learnings. So before you start a virtual meeting, you said it already in the chat, preparation. We know that over 70% of all meetings, whether online or offline, they fail because of no agenda or lack of preparation, which is painful. So what you want to do is obviously to check first, what is your goal? Write down your goal and then create a schedule with exact timings or roundabout timings around that, not the other way around. Know why you meet and then decide how much time is really needed to achieve that goal. Otherwise, as we know, we waste this precious, beautiful time called resource called time. And what I can also recommend is that if you're new to this, and there was one comment in the chat, when I started out years ago, and I started to create agendas, that you have 15 minutes slots in place. And I'll give you an example later on how I, just roughly how I structure it. But also that you consider 15 minutes getting, or 5 minutes even, if it depends on how much time you have in the meeting, that you have a time slot for getting into the groove, then you have the time slot of doing the things, and then out. I'll give you an example in a minute. Don't go deeper into that, but preparation is key. Second of all, keep it short. I know it seems like a no-brainer, but I just had an offer, and we were talking about a workshop that was actually supposed to be next week, and a client asked me if I could turn the 8-hour workshop into an 8-hour online workshop, which of course you can do, but after X amount of time we're fried. So live and online meetings are two different pairs of shoes. You can't move, obviously, you know that. It's not compared with going over a laptop after 2 hours max, and I beg of you, like no more than 2 hours max, we're totally fried and the concentration is gone. And even after that, if you're having multiple meetings, I know if you can relate to that, there's just not much happening in your brain anymore. It's just the way it is. So what I highly recommend is that you split your meeting in chunks of an hour, 1.5 or 2 hours max, and then have a break of at least half an hour. You can even in that break, what we oftentimes do, because yes, we have a lack of time. Time is an issue, and time is precious. That we say, okay, in the next half an hour, let's take a break, go for a walk, and think about these 5 things that need to be agreed on in the next chunk of our online meeting. So you can at least get off your chair, move, get fresh air, and come back fresh again, basically. Super important also for the before stage. To enhance this connectivity is invite consciously. What do I mean by that? To make sure your team is naturally engaged, intrinsically motivated, and therefore driving the meeting forward, only invite the people who are beneficial to your goal. Maybe also no-brainer in your case, but I've had multiple meetings where it was just the invite was just sent out to whoever was on the list, 20 people, 30 people. And for an online meeting, it is even more important that we think about who is really important for us, for our goal. So writing the goal down, doing the agenda, and then thinking about, okay, who is actually beneficial to our meeting is super, super crucial. As I said, who needs to be part of the meeting so it's successful and the goal can be achieved. And that is your base on whom to invite. How to invite, I'm going to give you an example in a minute. And this is something that came to me as surprise, to be honest, because I write nice emails when I invite people to team meetings, but there was a request by a client, and I want to share that with you because the outcome was just so different, and it was just a tweak, but really set the mood for the whole entire meeting, and I want to share that with you. So the invitation is the first impression and will influence the attitude towards your meeting greatly. What I recommend is that you send a personal email, yes, or even preferred medium, show the goals, takeaways of the meeting, communicate what they will need apart from the login, like material, nutrients, how they can create their offline space so they feel comfortable, and yeah, and even inspire your team to do so. I'll give you an example, which was, yeah, kind of shocking, because the reaction was so positively, especially in these times, you see, when we don't even have time to react to a meeting, to an invite or to an email. The amount of positive, wow, I'm so looking forward to this, really shocked me. So what I did, just want to share this with you. Dear XYZ team, this is what I used as a team invite. Only a few days to go until your fabulous team meeting. I'm so looking forward. I mean, this is my way of phrasing. It doesn't, this is just how I write. Please check the next slides for information, as well as some inspiration and preparation to make this a special one. And then we, just how much time will, so they know what the times and agenda is like. We have a two-hour session, followed by half an hour, so they know, and then again a 2-hour session, and then I put the agenda in, which is basically what I just said, like that they know, okay, they have a part of where they get into the grooving in, then they have a part where they work, which is the strategy part with a half an hour break, and then super importantly, the grooving out, and I'll come to that later again. Again, reminding them what the goals and the takeaway is, so they know this is actually relevant. The material that they need, anything that is out of the ordinary, obviously I would put in there, but also make the time to think about things that are out of the ordinary. So it is special and it is something that they look forward to. For instance, in this case, have paper and pens, Post-its, and your sneakers or slide socks at your side, because we did some exercises together. And also your treats, have special nutritious food, which they did, and drinks to keep you hydrated and energetic. Treat yourself really well, you deserve it. And then again, create a special atmosphere, light candles, surround yourself with plants, get a massive cushion or some lavender scent. Anything goes, it's your space and we're not looking. So this is something also we used as a check-in. So at the beginning, we all shared how we created our space and how we made it special. So it's just not in the air. And this was the goodbye. So yeah, these are the four before steps or before learnings I've had. Prepare, keep it short, invite cordially, invite consciously. If you like, give me one aha that you had in the chat, considering these steps before you actually do a meeting. I would be very, very honored if you could do that. To have water and get comfortable, yeah. Prepare space and atmosphere. Awesome. It's nice for creating the offline setting. Cool. Building on what Birgit just said, email invites so personal. I think the more you put in, the more personal they are. So again, like stepping into the unknown, being the one that leads the path, and also in that sense, leading by example or walk the talk is very, very, very helpful. Okay, thank you very, very much. Let's go to our next lot, the during, finally, the during. Okay, big learning, document everything that is said. Not because of the documentation itself also, but mostly of how you can sort of focus everyone on one page. So the worst thing that can happen in a virtual team meeting is when there are two conversations or more at a time, focus is off, confusion enters the virtual place. Even worse, I think people get bored, wander off, shut off completely, do multitasking, bad. Try to avoid that with all your heart and brain power. And how? Document everything so that people can follow. And so you basically moderate where the focus is at, and the focus is always on the current and only topic, and the discussion should only focus on the topic. I mean, you can wander off and say, okay, let's carry on to another, but that the whole team is clear on what you are currently working on. And also that you have the discussion covered and the fantastic outcome you achieve on that documentation page. And this is just very basic what I use lots of times, that I just put the topic on top, write down the topic, then document who says what, concise, and also ask, is there anything to add? And then what comes out of it? What is the outcome and the decisions based on what we've discussed about? This is just one way of documenting, super easy and works.
Hedi, just to clarify quickly, you do that during the meeting so participants can see what you document. Is that correct? Okay. And what are you, I know you said you didn't want to talk tech, but are you using PowerPoint? Just give us a quick hint on how you do the documentation.
I do. Yeah. I love PowerPoint the most. Yeah, absolutely. Even with, I don't know if you guys use WebEx, because I mean, in Zoom, you can very easily share the screen. You can't do that in most companies. So there's sometimes like WebEx, but even then I hack it by using, loading it up to a Google Doc document and then sharing the screen via Opera, Safari, Chrome, whatever. So they can actually see what I am writing. So this is my aim is always, they have to see what they're saying and what I'm writing.
Thank you.
Okay. And this is then also the base for your after. So all this documentation is what you can send out after, saying, thank you very much, congratulations, this is what we've achieved. Rules was one in the chat, and I absolutely love it. This has changed my life completely. So establishing rules in the beginning as a check-in is a game changer. As we know, and that virtual team meetings are, to some, even most of us, not completely natural, and sometimes need a tiny bit of support. And to do that, we can help with these guidance with establishing rules, for instance, like let's listen to each other, switch off other devices. There are two ways of doing that. I've tried both. First of all, you can do it up front. Like if you have, especially if you have a large audience, that makes sense to create 3 rules that really are most relevant to you up front and then share it. But what is really game changing is if you create them together, and it doesn't have to be long, 5 to 10 minutes maximum. And I will actually I have a template to guide you through it. It's no big deal. But you really have a better engagement, and it actually brings the meeting into a different, it makes all the difference. Also, start motivational. I think I said it before. This check-in moments, like this grooving in, also makes all of the difference. It's very small, 5 to 10 minutes, but it sets this mood into a right place, and it enhances productivity. It really does. So a small activity to jumpstart the session at the beginning, and they create the virtual atmosphere. Can be motivational, can be fun, or even building trust, building the team relationships on a deeper level. There are really multiple ways of boosting this with short, meaningful starts, and I will also give you a link afterwards to some YouTube videos that I've done, especially on that topic. What I would love to try out, because it's sometimes, especially, sometimes it's a bit tricky to do that. So I would just want to try it out with you guys, if you don't mind. And we would love you to, for just 5 minutes, we would do a breakout time where we meet you, or we cluster you in groups of 5, where we would love you to try this super simple exercise. It's even two in one, where you just share with each other, if I were an animal, what I would be and why, 1 round. And then if I were a type of drink, what would I be and why? For instance, if I were an animal, I would be an eagle, you know, always trying to overlook what is there and then pick the solution. That's my thing. And type of drink, I think I'm more today I think I'm a champagne type of girl, because lots of things happening and I'm very, very excited these things are happening. So can we do that, Ingo? Can we make a quick breakout session? Also, if you started so motivational, end motivational, because leaving this virtual space can sometimes be awkward. People oftentimes need to run off. I don't know if you can relate to that, but have to run off to another meeting, and it's even easier to not say goodbye in a virtual space than it is leaving the room in an actual space. And it affects relationships. I can, just from all my experience, it does, and it makes the meetings even more like another dot on the agenda, not really mattering, and this is just not what we want. So always reserve some time at the end. Motivate your team to say something they liked about the meeting. Can only be like 1 minute, saying this one aha that you share this one aha that you had, that we've done several times now, or the one thing that you've liked, the one thing that you want to build on next time. So just to round up in a positive feel this meeting you've had. Or give proper feedback to improve the virtual team meeting experience continuously. And I'm also going to share with you how I do it. There's also a YouTube video on that, so you should be covered. So again, to wrap it up, the during phase is, for me, the most important thing is to document, to establish the rules, to start motivational and to end motivational. And I'm going to share with you one exercise that I'm also going to give you the link to that. Which is basically 2 templates, an all-in-one thing that documents, that starts motivational, ends motivational, and establishes rules. And this is just the cover. We go straight to it. So it's a kick-off template, which you can use, which I use for any meeting because it's simple. If I didn't have the time to prepare something else. And what it does, it's just like it is basically giving you a flow of how to create this starting off motivational. So what you do, you have at the top, you have the date, the team name, and the topic and headline for your documentation purposes. Today is the 15th of April. Let's say our team name is the A team, and the topic and headline is just very simple, an update meeting. And then we can, of course, we just learned this check-in about the animal and the drinks. You can also start with a simple mood scale, asking your team on a scale of 1 to 10, how do you feel? So to build rapport, know where they're at and acknowledging where they're at. And then also asking, what can we do to make you a 10, make you better? So just an example, I'll lead you through it. So maybe you're called Diana and maybe you're only a 3. Oh man, Diana, that's not very, 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 very high. What are your expectations and wishes? I then ask. That's the next thing. So I pick each team member and I lead them through mood scale, expectations and wishes, and the rules that basically are based on the expectations and wishes, that make the expectations and wishes actionable. So Diana, I would absolutely love for us, because I'm in a not so good place at this moment, that we have through our meeting an uplifting mood and great team spirit. So that's super important to me. That would actually make my day in my team meeting. And the rule that is important to me to achieve that, and this is unfortunately wrong, but could be, let's listen and focus. It's actually, let's have fun. sorry. Then we carry on with another team member, which is Alva, for example. And Alva is a super 10. Alva's super psyched today. And let's have some fun. There we go. And Alva says what is really my expectation and wish, because last time it was a bit of a hassle with our discussion time, and I would love for us to keep the discussions to a minimum. That would be really, really important for me to have a good outcome of the team meeting and flow. So the rule that sort of is based on the same expectations and wishes but makes it actionable, it's let's not discuss more than 5 minutes. So you as a leader or your team knows, okay, 5 minutes max, and then we carry on, or see at least where we're at and decide if we need to carry on with the same discussion or if we can carry on. Third example, John. John is an 8. That's good. John would love for this meeting to have a good flow. And the rule that he wants to establish is let's listen and focus. So with that, you sort of pull out you don't straight ask, okay, what are the rules for today? Because sometimes people tend to be overwhelmed with that question. You start, first of all, where are they at? What kind of mood they're in? What would they wish for? Best case, let them really be honest, and then derive the rules from that. So yeah, you have a base to work with. That is the kicking off template. Then you go through your meeting, and then you have the optimized template, which allows you to check whether these expectations and wishes and rules, they're met, if they were met, and if there is room for improvement. And the way you can do that just with that template, if you just copy and paste the expectations and wishes and rules, tack, we had Diana, uplifting mood, team spirit, this is just copy and paste. And then you ask again all of the team members on a scale of 1 to 10, how do you think we did? How great did we do in terms of let's having fun, not discussing more than 5 minutes, and let's listen and focus. And just to give you an example, Diana said we were an 8, and then you say, okay, what can we do so next time we're a 10? And then she says, well, you know what, because my rule was let's have some fun. Actually, I'm going to bring, this creates ownership, by the way, I will make sure that we as a homework all bring our favorite uplifting quotes to share in the first check-in. I just want to have more fun, and uplifting quotes, I think, are a great way to do that, as Diana. Alva's also an 8, but also Alva, you said that you want the discussion time to be limited to 5 minutes, right? Yes. And Alva says, I think we can even do better if we have an agenda with micro timing, and I'm happy to do that for the preparation of the next meeting. And then John says, wow, I think that was really awesome. But to be a 10, I think even we could even stick to a 3-minute discussion rule to be even more productive. So this is just a way of structuring very simply your end of the meeting, so you can learn from it, so you grow together, and you come into the habit of we can create and design our meetings better and make them better and better and better, make them our own. And with this, we come already to 9, which is almost a no-brainer: embrace variety. I don't know what you work with and what kind of conferencing platform you're using, but they all have a variety of really great features, like the chat we've used for quick decision making, or in between feedback, or the whiteboard if you need some more complex content to make it more visible, and the ability to interact. So I personally love to keep it simple, but if it is a longer creation meeting / workshop, I really, really enjoy, or the team, the people I work for, they really enjoy to do something different at a time. Let's keep it simple. First, explore, master the game one step at a time, because there's no worse thing than struggling with all these tech tools, which then again makes the relationship, either tech or relationship. It should be both, right? And also, what I said earlier, you don't have to stick totally, I think, to the sitting in front of a laptop, concentrating for a longer period of time, but you can also send them out for with 2-3 questions, and then, even for 5-10 minutes, and say, okay, have ideas or answers for them when you come back. Always works very well. So get your teams off screen as much as possible. As I said, ask a question, let your team finish with pen and paper for a couple of minutes, and share the outcome virtually again, either in chat, or if you're moderating and documenting, just saying it out loud works perfectly. So wrapping that up again, document in the during phase. My learnings are: document, establish rules, start motivational, end motivational, and embrace a variety of what you have on display and what you like to use. After, only one point, which is the follow-up, but is crucial, because remember, it's all about caring and motivation and appreciating your people. So again, what can you send? Think about what they would love for you to, what would they love to hear from? Look forward to the next. What can you send after the meeting to show that? A thank you mail. At least make sure everyone has the documentation and knows what great outcome they've achieved. And so we wrap it up once more. Again, the 10-step strategy for meeting heroes: prepare, keep it short, cap it short, invite cordially, invite consciously, document, establish rules, start motivational, end motivational, embrace variety, and follow up. My question to you again, last question: what will you take home from this? In the chat, if you like to share, I'd be very curious. Awesome. Great. Wonderful. Thanks. Great. Just before you go, if you want more in depth of the team activities, like what we've did with the simple questions, or how to give and receive feedback, I will share with you, or Ingo will share with you at the end, obviously the whole course of today, but also my YouTube link, because or you can just Google Hedi Schäfer, or on YouTube just put in Hedi Schäfer with AE, and then you will get all the content. And my experience is really, because there was the question of, is it working for a 20 minute, I'm wondering, would this exercise be possible for a 20-minute meeting? I think so, because you can always, and I don't know how long it took you now. It was probably a bit uncomfortable, so it took a little bit more minutes or seconds, but just to ask where you're at in terms of an analogy and in terms of a metaphor, like a drink or an animal or even your childhood hero, that takes usually less than 30 seconds for any person. So in this YouTube series, you see a variety of different exercises, and I will put more up over the next weeks, which makes you where you have a variety, and also in terms of time that you want to spend, and what kind of goals you want to achieve in this team building. So I think this is it for me. Do you facilitate? One last question: do you facilitate the meetings alone? I do.